Was that everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, can't deny that view.
Come on, this way. Hey, let's pick it up. Look, we're almost done. Stay focused.
Yes, ma'am.
Though Joel is the primary playable protagonist of The Last of Us, and though we see much of the game's story through his eyes, it's indisputable that the most important puzzle piece that the series' story hinges on is Ellie. She is what drives the entire game's story, and in the sequel, she's going to become even more prominent as the primary playable protagonist. As such, in many ways, one could say that all of The Last of Us is the origin story of Ellie, but there's plenty that happens with her even before the first game, the majority of which we see in Left Behind, that goes on to shape her character and her whole arc. In this feature, as we count down to the days until The Last of Us Part 2 releases, we'll be looking at the backstory of Ellie and the events of her life leading up to the first game's beginning.
You know what? This isn't that bad.
Why don't you try to get some sleep? Right.
I'm not even tired.
One of the most interesting aspects of Ellie's character is the fact that she, like many others in the world of The Last of Us, was born during the apocalypse. By the time she came into the world, the cordyceps infection had already torn it to pieces, and so all she knows and all she has seen is the post-apocalyptic hellscape the world has turned into. She has no memory and little second-hand knowledge of what the world used to be like before things went south. And the juxtaposition between innocence and gruffness that brings to her character is, simply put, fascinating to see.
Welcome to follow us
I'm
back.
not following you anywhere. Buddy boy can go get it. He comes back with what I need. The deer is all yours. Anyone else shows up...
You put one right between my eyes.
That's right.
Ellie's mother, Anna, gave birth to her a few years after the apocalypse, but died the very next day. Before dying, however, she entrusted Ellie's care to her close friend Marlene, who, of course, we all know as the leader of the Fireflies. Marlene, knowing that her activities with her group of insurgents would endanger Ellie, sent her off to boarding schools, away from her, but always kept an eye on her, either through herself or through one of her followers, from a distance. At the age of 13, as portrayed in the 4-issue miniseries called The Last of Us: American Dreams, Ellie arrived in the Boston quarantine zone, where she quickly befriended a girl slightly older than herself named Riley. Their very first meeting was an eventful one, but the two quickly formed a strong bond. Shortly afterward, the two got caught in a hairy situation. Riley, who wanted to join up with the Fireflies and was growing progressively more disillusioned by military rule, devised a way to meet up with the group unbeknownst to Ellie, who, incidentally, got caught up in the midst of her plan. Long story short, a firefight broke out between the military and the Fireflies, and Riley made sure that she was there when it happened. Ellie also happened to be there with her, and the two of them aided the Fireflies from the sidelines as best they could. They were captured by the Fireflies promptly afterward and taken to Marlene, and though Ellie had no memory of her, she, of course, recognized her old friend's daughter. Riley asked Marlene to let her join the Fireflies, but Marlene refused, telling her that the lives they led were dangerous ones. At the same time, she handed Ellie a letter and a switchblade, telling her both those things belonged to her mother, the former being a letter she had written to her daughter in the short span between giving her birth and dying herself. Ellie and Riley were returned to the military school where they lived, but the latter didn't stick around for too long. Not long after their encounter with the Fireflies, Riley left, never saying a word to anyone, including Ellie, before doing so. When she did not return, Ellie assumed that her friend had died. Some time passed, and in this time, Ellie was drafted into the military. But soon afterward, Riley returned. She told Ellie that after she left, she found the Fireflies again, and this time she was successfully able to join up with the group. She asked Ellie to follow her, and the two snuck out of the school and head into an old mall close by. When Ellie questioned where she's taking her and why, Riley initially didn't answer, but soon she relented and revealed that she's being sent away to another unit of the Fireflies in a distant city. She snuck away and came back for a final meeting with Ellie because she knew that she probably wouldn't see her again, if ever. What Ellie didn't know was that she was very much the reason Riley is being sent away in the first place. After Riley joined up with the Fireflies, she asked Marlene if Ellie could join them as well. Marlene, who made a promise long ago to Ellie's mother that she would always keep her safe no matter the cost, strictly told Riley that her friend must stay away from the Fireflies at the boarding school where she will be safe. On top of that, she also forbade Riley from ever seeing her again, knowing that she might very well put Ellie in danger, now that Riley is a Firefly, and, for good measure, also decided to send Riley away. And so Riley and Ellie decided to make the most of their time that they had together in the mall, but things quickly went wrong to nobody's surprise. Lulled into a sense of security by their final hours together, the two were taken by surprise when they were attacked by a pack of infected, lured in their direction by the noise that the two had been making. Ellie and Riley managed to slip past the first wave of the infected, but after many close shaves, their luck finally ran out. Just as the two were about to escape, another pack of infected attacked them, and though they managed to kill their attackers, they did not come out unscathed. Both Ellie and Riley got bit, and both knew perfectly well that this was a literal death sentence for them. They had hours, if that, before they turned into one of the infected as well. As luck would have it, Ellie never succumbed to the infection. Riley did turn, but Ellie, thanks to the immunity she did not know she had, managed to survive, weighed down later by immense survivor's guilt.
Let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together. I'm still waiting for my turn.
Ellie.
Her name was Riley, and she was the first to die.
Marlene decided that she would send Ellie to the Fireflies' doctors far away from Boston, where they could reverse engineer a vaccine for the virus using Ellie. And this set her off on a path to look for a smuggler who would do so, which, of course, eventually led her right to Joel and Tess. By the time The Last of Us comes to an end, there's little doubt that Ellie has changed beyond measure. The things she sees and goes through during her year-long trek across America with Joel changes her as a person, and it goes without saying that the things she will go through in The Last of Us Part 2 will change her even more. With the upcoming sequel, Naughty Dog are promising to deliver a dark, violent game that will put Ellie through the ringer in more ways than one, and it's looking like her personal journey this time is going to be a harrowing one, and we absolutely cannot wait to take that journey with her. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.